Hi, I'm Lillian and I'm from the Mississauga Library. Did you know that March is Women's History Month and that March 8th is International Women's Day? Today I'm going to talk to you about 5 amazing Canadian women that were and are trailblazers in their fields. We are so lucky in Canada to have a multitude of Canadian women to look up to. The first woman on my list is Lucy Maud Montgomery, who lived from 1874 to 1942. She wrote the Anne of Green Gables series. She was first published when she was just 16 years old, and it was a poem in the local newspaper. Fame came in 1908 when she published Anne of Green Gables, the first book in the series. She had given the Anne manuscript to 5 different publishers before it was finally accepted and published. Montgomery went on to write many more books in the Anne series, as well as many books about other characters living on Prince Edward Island. However, her claim to fame is the Anne books, which have been published in over 20 different languages and have inspired TV series, movies, and musicals, and are beloved today just as they were over 100 years ago. The next woman on my list is Emily Carr, who lived from 1871 to 1945. She was a painter. She studied painting in San Francisco, England, and France. It was common at that time for women to paint as a hobby, not as a career choice. But Emily tried and succeeded to do it anyway. Her claim to fame are her paintings of the BC First Nations villages and of the BC landscape. To this day, she is considered one of Canada's top artists. Viola Desmond is the third woman on my list. She lived from 1914 to 1965 in Halifax, Nova Scotia. She was a Black rights activist and a businesswoman. She started her own beauty school for Black women and created a line of products for them. In 1946, Viola Desmond decided to go to the movies. She purchased a ticket and sat down. She hadn't realized that her ticket was for the balcony, and she sat on the main floor. She was asked to move because the main floor was where the white folks were supposed to sit, while the balcony was where the Black folks were supposed to sit. She refused to move and offered to pay the difference in the ticket prices. She was denied that opportunity. She was arrested. The charge was evading taxes of the Nova Scotia government in the amount of 1 cent, the price difference between the 2 tickets. She was tried and without representation found guilty of this charge, and she was charged a fine. Throughout her trial, race was never mentioned, but it was clear to all involved that race was the underlying factor here. She appealed the decision, but her appeals failed, and through her fight, she encouraged others to fight segregation as well, and in 1945, segregation was outlawed in the province of Nova Scotia. In 2010, she was pardoned by the Nova Scotia government, and later on, she was the first woman to appear on a Canadian banknote, the $10 bill. The next woman on my list is Roberta Bondar, who was born in 1945. Roberta was a neurologist and was interested in space travel from a very young age. In 1983, the National Research Council of Canada was looking to create a team of astronauts. Roberta applied to the program and was accepted. She was eager to go to space. However, she turned down her first opportunity because she felt that she had been asked because of her gender, not because of her abilities and her experience. Roberta finally traveled to space in January of 1992. She spent 8 days doing experiments and taking pictures. This made her the first Canadian woman to travel to space. When she came back, she spent time studying the effects of space travel on the human body. In 2009, she created the Roberta Bondar Foundation, which teaches about environmental topics and conservation. The last woman on my list, but certainly not the least, is Canadian Olympic athlete Clara Hughes. During her Olympic career, she competed in the Summer Olympics in road cycling and the Winter Olympics in speed skating. She started speed skating when she was 16 and started cycling the year after that. She won her first Olympic medals in 1996 in road cycling, and then went on to win medals in the 2002, 2006, and 2010 Olympic Winter Games in speed skating. She is tied with fellow speed skater Cindy Clausen for the most Olympic medals by a Canadian athlete. She is the only Canadian athlete to have competed in both the Summer and Winter Games. Since her retirement from the Olympics, she has worked tirelessly to end the stigma around mental health issues.